when we talk about crowd numbers, and I know it is a very frustrating topic in Australian football because we see what other sports in Australia can do, where we see what the A-League can do in the kind of 2016, 2017 peak areas, and we get frustrated at the state of the game and where it is now. And we see Central Coast Mariners, a club that has had so much success, won a continental treble no less than 2 seasons ago, pull 1,900 to their stadium for a Friday night fixture is really, really disappointing more than most. It's no one in particular's fault. It's just a general sadness at Australian football that we're in this point. Staj, I really hope you're not listening to this one at the moment. But the comparison I want to draw, Christian, is the one between attendance figures and TV ratings. So if you want to make money, you got to spend money. And for the A-League to spend the money, they have to earn it. And in a modern environment, how do they earn it? And that's through broadcast deals. Yes, obviously, clubs are drawing money from people buying memberships, buying tickets, buying food at the stalls. But the majority of broadcast revenue for professional sporting leagues in the world at the moment, a big slice of that pie is broadcast deals. And we saw some stats. This is a post from Chris Shimizi on LinkedIn, who is the head of strategy at the A-Leagues. He posted a couple of stats about 2 weeks ago on some broadcast numbers coming through from Network 10. The 24-25 A-League season across the men's and the women's reached 5.1 million total national viewers. So that is unique people. So population of Australia is about 28 million. 5 million of those, or 5.1, watched the A-League at some point in the 24-25 season, which was also the biggest ever season on Paramount, which is probably nothing to write home about, to be fair. Obviously, when you compare it to the Foxtel days, who knows? But the early numbers from the 25-26 season is that normal TV on Channel 10 is up 31%, and streaming on Paramount Plus is up 48%. And they are not insignificant numbers, Christian. And we all had a big discussion about this during the week in the WhatsApp group. Your money comes from broadcast deals. These are strong broadcast numbers, at least in terms of increase. And when it comes to negotiation, obviously the current deal expires at the end of this season. And an increased broadcast deal can increase distributions, not all the way, but back to hopefully close to what they were. Provide some more cash for these clubs just to get back and pull the ceiling of what these clubs are up to a point where the Mariners still can go out and actually spend on some players and have a semi-normal transfer window. And that kind of disillusionment with the club doesn't hit that kind of really all-time low.
Yeah, you're spot on. I mean, it all comes down to the broadcasting deal. I mean, how many hot dogs can you sell at the end of the day, right? To be able to bring in that money. It's about the broadcast revenue and how many subscriptions you can get people to sign on to. I think that's the real key to be able to keep these clubs not only afloat, but to just keep them up and to survive and be able to use those funds to sign players, do this, do that. I mean, obviously the A-League has been in a position now for a while where it's just been such in a really sad and dire state where it's like, where do you turn to now? And I know, the APL have been trying to do stuff in terms of this Paramount deal, which people can disagree on, which if it was the right deal or not. But you've got talks. I think what's the go with DAZN at the moment? I think you're a bit on top of that than I am.
So the rumors kind of over the last 12 months have been that the APL or Network 10 or some combination of the two, the preferred option would be a 2-year extension to the current deal under different terms. One is that is potentially more favourable for the APL, and that brings it in line with the broadcast deal for the national teams as well with Football Australia. And then after that, it's pure speculation, at least in a public sense, about what some other companies may be interested in. DAZN, who have bought Foxtel in Australia, are a big footballing distributor globally. They broadcast a lot of football leagues around the world. They now own Australia's biggest pay TV network that have the footy, that have the cricket. How does that play into things? Then you have obviously Paramount, the current broadcasters. They've just spent, I think, about £1 billion to get the UEFA Champions League in Europe, or to broadcast it in the UK, I should say. so that there's clearly money in the bank there. And then you have a Stan who have obviously jumped into the Australian broadcasting of the Premier League and the Champions League and all the UEFA competitions as well. So all of a sudden you have three broadcasters who realistically should have interest in the A-Leagues and hopefully are willing to spend money for it. And crucially, compared to the last time we did these negotiations, is that hopefully there's competition. So one-on-one is great. Three parties that are potentially interested is even better. And hopefully that just bumps up the price.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also, I know I'm probably going a bit off topic here from the broadcast, but a few days ago in the WhatsApp group, you sent a poll in to say what's hardest to convert in terms of, casual fans to hardcore fans. So I forgot the number of options you gave. And what we said was converting, casual football fans to actually to watch A-League games. That's probably the hardest thing to do at the moment for us to try and grow our game. And you look at the crowd attendance figure, as you highlighted, the Mariners, only 1,900 people turn up for a home game on a Friday night against Auckland. Like, that is so disappointing. It just goes to show how much we've got to go. And this is a club who only won the treble a couple of seasons ago. So it seems as though, and Victory, another example, getting 9,000 against Adelaide, which we just spoke about. I think part of the problem is it's about how well these clubs are doing. I know it sounds so simple, but it can't be a case of you're selling out the Mariners Stadium and then 2 seasons later you're getting 1,900 at a game. So obviously there's a lot of casual fans there who are happy when your team's doing well, but when they're not doing so great, then you see those numbers fall off, but not just a bit, significantly. And I think that's a big worry. So it's about how do we convert those fans who might be interested in football, might watch a game here and there, to actually convert them to not even watch the A-League, just respect the A-League. You've seen people who just completely disregard it and say, there's no talent, it's not worth watching. How do you convert those football fans to fall in love with the A-League over time, essentially, and that will help build that number as well. So I guess that's that as well. And there's a lot of things, a lot of other factors that you can touch on which are contributing to those poor attendance numbers. But I've just seen time and time again, 3,000, 4,000 attendance. It's like, we've just dropped so far below. It's not even funny.
Yeah. So this is a survey that was conducted in the last 12 months or so. A little over 8 million Australians consider themselves football fans, of soccer. And the numbers that we just spoke about earlier, about 5 million have watched an A-League game over the last year. So obviously that's around 60%. It's not as high as you'd want it, but I don't think that's actually as low as a lot of people would think it would be. So the crucial part of it is then converting casual people who occasionally watch the A-League to actually invest in the storylines and follow the league week in, week out, which is part of what we do here, is try and talk about those storylines. So it makes you want to come back every week and see what happens next. And it's a mission that's never going to end, and it's a very complicated one indeed. The next 6 months are going to be absolutely massive in terms of the future of the game, with the broadcast deal negotiations, with the CBA, with the players' union as well, is going to be a massive turning point. I'm flagging it now. So, look, sit tight and wait. It's going to be an interesting time.